Welcome. Welcome to session one, Freelance Navigator, and congratulations on starting your journey. This one will be a bite-size type of video. We don't want to do this program something that's super long to watch and it can become boring. So let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna share my screen. And here we go. All righty. Freelance Navigator in session one. So this is effectively an introduction of the freelance business model. Okay, so it's important to note that most of the members of our community actually operate through this freelance business model. Now, on this initial video, we're gonna keep it service agnostic, and we're gonna speak broadly about the freelance business model as a whole. So we're not gonna go into much detail into any particular specific type of freelance business model or service. We're gonna keep it very broad, just for you to have the 50,000 foot view and understanding of what the freelance business model is. So starting with the main three types of services that we can offer out there in the world. So we have three main types of freelancers. We have the creatives, meaning those logo designers, brand designers, the UX, UI designers, the web artists, for instance. We have the tech guys, developers, the builders, right? Everything that's more custom coding, backend development, even CMS, those guys doing JavaScript, Python, PHP, all this fun stuff, APIs, integrations, and things like that. Very developer, programmer-driven type of freelancer. And then we have the marketers, the marketing guys, the ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Instagram marketing, effectively bringing an influx of attention towards a very specific program, product, or company. So it's important to note that all these types have fundamental aspects that you need to be aware of. For example, once you're building your freelance business as a creative agency, if you will, or creative freelance business, the dynamics of your team members, your prospects, and your research and your unique value proposition and irresistible offer, it will be different in nature from the other two. For example, once you're building a freelance business as a developer, the type of deals and the dynamic of those deals will be different than making a deal for a Facebook ads campaign, right? So it's important to know that each individual type has very unique differences once you're actually building the business. Now, the four main pillars of your freelance business model. We have two very simple categories, okay? So we're gonna divide the business into front end, everything that's an cash flow, it's an influx of oxygen, influx of money, and the back end, the delivery, actually making a client actually happy with what we promise we're going to deliver. So two main categories, right? Front end and the back end. We have two pillars in the front end. We have leads, potential prospects, potential buyers. We have sales, actually closing the deals, getting that signature on a contract with an expected delivery date and a budget allocated towards that contract. And then on the back end pillars, we have, again, two different pillars. The delivery, actually building that website, actually creating that API integration, actually executing a TikTok marketing campaign, and the processes associated to the business as a whole. Processes like, how do we send out a contract? How do we get the signature of the contract? How do we actually create a cadence of communication with a client? Do we bring the client onto our Discord, for example, or do we have a Slack workspace in which we have both ourselves and the clients, or do we handle everything very, I guess, old school, just everything email based, if you will? So all of the processes associating with actually building the freelance business. Two main categories, 4 pillars in total. Now, going into a more detail in each individual pillar, and actually the implementation of the Freelance Navigator method, right? So how do we go about implementing the Freelance Navigator method onto your freelance business? Okay, so starting with the first pillar, right, on the front end, the leads. So we're going to need a reliable, this is a keyword, a reliable lead generation source that can provide a sufficient number of qualified, this is another keyword, qualified sales calls every week. So to actually build a freelance business, we're going to need weekly sales calls, and we need that sufficient number of qualified leads. Now, moving on to the second pillar, the ability to sell, to express yourself, to be able to communicate the value and the uniqueness of your offer. So the ability to sell, which includes having an offer, a very unique and irresistible offer. So now it's an offer that's attractive to the leads you're speaking to. Okay, so we're going to have sales calls every week, and we need to have an offer that is attractive to those qualified leads we're talking to. Now, moving on to the back end of the business, the first pillar, delivery. At the beginning, it's very common that the members in Freelance Navigator want to take on the delivery entirely because they want to be delivering a high standards, and they want to have that control over the quality. But going down up the numbers, meaning, you can be a solo freelancer, if you will, and get to 5K a month, get to $6,000 a month, 5K, 6K. But if you want to hit those big numbers like 8K, 10K, 12K, 16K plus, bringing extra hands in which you then scale the freelance business, right? It's the way to go. So you're going to need a delivery team. At the beginning will be yourself, if you want to go on that route, who can work for you to actually deliver the projects, to actually deliver the website, to actually deliver all of the user flows of a UX UI project. And then last but not least, standardized processes, okay? Standardized processes that are repeatable and can deliver quality results, okay? These standardized processes will need to be repeatable, and they will improve over time with something that we call Kaizen. It's a continuous improvement of a process. Okay, so in the beginning, these are the only 4 things that matter. Don't worry about creating a fancy portfolio online, don't worry about creating a logo or opening a whole new Instagram account. Just to focus in these 4 things at the beginning to actually get your first clients. Now, starting with the lead generation pillar, the pillar of the leads, we're going to set up your first funnel. It's going to be Upwork.com. We're going to help you with everything around how to set up the profile and how to optimize it for better results in terms of the people who are approaching you, so that you can jump on a sales call with them and actually get your first clients. So Upwork.com, in our years of experience, we have the data to validate and back up the fact that Upwork is effectively the lead generation marketplace with training wheels. It's very effective in terms of getting you those first initial clients. in terms of how the Upwork environment or the Upwork ecosystem looks like, here's a little study that we did in Freelance Navigator of the distribution of jobs by category. So we have 13.7% in web development, 3% marketing, graphic design is 8%, mobile development is 5%. We have 1.44%, 1.4% in illustrations. We have even data entry, customer service. We have creative jobs. The list is long, so still SEO, lead generation, copywriting, article, copywriting for articles, e-commerce development, and even others. So this pie chart, just know that there is a lot of opportunity, and no matter what your service is, we can find a very specific target audience for you within the ecosystem of Upwork. So that concludes your first Upwork video. I hope everything is clear. In terms of action items will be for you to watch some very basic Upwork setup and explanation of what the ecosystem is as a whole that we're gonna send your way, and we'll see you on school with some exercises that we're gonna ask you to do. See you in the next one.